You'll have to excuse my lack of a video yesterday. It was meagre pickings, barrel scrapings, if you will. We had the sort of non-story that Carlos Tevez had indicated that he would probably only really consider a return to Europe if it were with West Ham. Not really a story. Well, because it's not going to happen, let's be fair. But a nice thought, and we appreciate it. And obviously he was only with us for a season, and he only played half of that, really, didn't he? Let's be honest with you. But he turned into a bit of a folk hero. But anyway, that wasn't a story. The other one was Declan Rice linked with Chelsea again. I could have done it, but I look back on this channel and I think I've discussed that. I think there's 6 separate videos. So that would be churning up old stuff again, and there's just no need for it. And the final one would have been the leaking of the kits. Basically, me discussing a kit that I haven't seen yet based on a description by somebody else. There's better things to do on a Sunday, isn't there, quite frankly, to watch all that stuff. So I didn't bother. But what did happen on a Sunday was just even more capitulation from the teams around us. You'll remember that a few days ago in a video, I said that I had a hunch. I could feel it in my water that we wouldn't go down. There was no evidence to suggest it. It literally was that. It was a guess. No, nothing. I can't see anything in our team to give me any confidence whatsoever. But I just felt we weren't as down as everybody thought we were. We're not in the bottom 3. And I'm amazed. I am absolutely amazed that that has happened. I was going to do a video last week, actually, which was I think I was going to entitle it, Are We the Worst Team in the Premier League, or something like that. And I think I'd seen a bit of Norwich play, and even though I think they're down and I think they're gone because I just believe the points deficit is too much to make up from their position, I looked at them and I had a little bit of fight, and I thought, actually, they're better than us. They can't catch us, as I just mentioned, but I think they were better than us. And from what I'd seen, particularly against Wolves, I thought we're terrible. We are absolutely terrible. And looking back at our record, we got the win against Bournemouth and the win against Southampton, and that was it. Basically, if you're not near the seaside, we don't beat you. And we're not playing Brighton again. So I just thought, well, clearly, we won't be as good as Watford. I thought Aston Villa, if you saw them in their game against Sheffield United, they had the goal disallowed, but they looked like they're up for it. They looked plucky, and I thought this is a team that's going to pick up some points. Bournemouth, I just didn't think it would be as bad as they had been. I thought they had Brooks coming back. And he was a good player. If you remember last season, it was him and Ryan Fraser were tearing it up on either wing, and Callum Wilson was fit. He seemed fit anyway. I just thought the break would perhaps do Eddie Howe some good, and just he could sort of reiterate his ideas and have a bit of training time with Bournemouth. I just thought Bournemouth would be better than West Ham, from what I'd seen about West Ham. And I looked at our run of fixtures and Wolves and Tottenham and Chelsea, and I just thought, we need a surprise win. We need one of those games to get the 3 points. Otherwise, we're just going to be in the bottom 3. Well, we're not in the bottom 3. I know all the games haven't happened yet, but what was it? It was 3-1 against Southampton, the Watford game. Now, I'm not going to pretend to have watched the game. I didn't. But that's a bad result. At home to Southampton. Now, Southampton, don't get me wrong, are playing all right, but they've got 2 wins in the last 5. They had still, up until recently, would have considered themselves to be in the mix. Relegation candidates, you'd have to say. So to get turned over at your own ground, 3-1, by a team that's okay, but nothing special, you would certainly say Watford should be comparable with Southampton based on the last 3 or 4 years. That's bad. And then, of course, the other one, which was Saturday's game, which was Aston Villa losing to Wolves. No shame there. No shame there whatsoever, by the way, losing 1-0 to Wolves. But it's still a loss. And they're still down there. They're still below us. And we're in that ridiculous situation, though. Even though we're crap, I am now not convinced that we're the worst team in the Premier League. But it doesn't matter in many respects at the moment anyway, because it's almost like nobody wants to win a game. Nobody wants to get themselves out of the relegation zone. Even Brighton looked like they were, maybe trying to crawl away from it. It's who did they play? They play Manchester United next as well. And it almost seems like all the planets are aligning for West Ham. Now, don't get me wrong. We got Chelsea next. We'll be doing our review later on tonight on the main channel. Myself and Gio will be discussing that. And the news has come out that Sebastian Haller is still not going to be fit, even for the Chelsea game. What's going on there? That's a weird one. News actually did come out on a Sunday, not worthy enough to do a video in itself on, but you do look at it and think, whoa, hold on, we're in trouble. But are we? Whilst I don't want us to lose to Chelsea, and I hate the fact that David Moyes can go into a game with that mindset, thinking, oh, we could probably take another loss here. Mathematically, we probably can. Because if you look at the other fixtures in the league that are coming up now, our next one's Chelsea. Bournemouth's is Newcastle, which I think is the most winnable one of the lot, because it's a long journey for Newcastle. It's a long journey down to Bournemouth. That's got to be the biggest one in the Premier League. It has to be the longest journey in the Premier League. I'm pretty sure it is. But Bournemouth have lost 4 of their last 5. And the other one was a draw. Aston Villa have Liverpool next. Norwich, look, I'll include them there, but I do, as I say, I think they're out of it. They've got Arsenal next. We've got Chelsea as our next game, but guess what? So have Watford. Now, Chelsea have just played, as you may well have just seen. Would have liked that game to have gone on a bit longer, for sure. But looking at the form here, this is pathetic, by the way. We've got 1 win in our last 5. Bournemouth have no wins in the last 5. Villa have no wins in the last 5. Norwich do, and so do Watford. But that's it. You're basically looking at a bunch of poor teams. And look what's happened since everyone's come back. It's absolutely crazy. 2-0. Bournemouth lost 2-0 to Crystal Palace. In Bournemouth, they can't do that. Not if you want to stay up. You cannot do that. Good team, Crystal Palace. Nice and organised, absolutely. But you can't do that. And then they go and they lose to Wolves as well. Wolves are having a right old royal time at the moment. Gio mentioned this when it was all in the lockdown and all the rest of it. He said he thought Wolves were going to come out of this period fit and firing. Well, they have. There's no doubt about it. The Aston Villa one, is a funny one, because you've had the Sheffield United, of course, which was, they got a draw, and that's a good draw for them. They lost to Chelsea, but they were ahead. And then you got Newcastle. And then it's Wolves, and it's just, there's a couple of draws there, but it ain't enough. It's not been enough for them to get out. And actually the winnable fixtures, the fixtures they would have looked at to get something out of, they've not won. Good time to play Liverpool. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I say that with, I don't know. They were all drunk the other day, basically. Liverpool were all drunk. Maybe it's a good time to play Liverpool. They've just been crowned champions. They're in celebration mode. But from what I saw against Liverpool, their youngsters coming out and look, came onto the pitch, looked pretty damn good as well. Aston Villa, Jack Grealish, their talisman in particular, looked like the weight of the world on his shoulders. That was very, very interesting. Watford got a really, really good result against Leicester. Really good draw. But then to lose to Burnley. Burnley are in turmoil. Burnley are in trouble. The manager wants out, apparently. Might be coming to West Ham now. I joke, but you get what I mean. And then to get to dump him from Southampton is not good at all. These are not good results. And I hate to say it, and I hate to give David Moyes' tactics validation, because I don't think they do. Because don't forget, it's not like we just lost 2 games in a row. We've actually lost 3, because we lost against Arsenal as well just before the world went mad. But I said after Wolves, I think David Moyes will be looking at that thinking, yeah, I can take something from that. Even more so against Tottenham. I think it's squeaky bum, and it ain't great to watch, and it's a massive worry. And there's an awful lot wrong, as we've discussed, in terms of team selection, in terms of substitutions, and the fact that we don't seem to have a striker. Well, we do have strikers, but we've got one that he'll play. And if Sebastian Haller is not available, he is not going to play Ajeti, and he is not going to play Silva. These things are not great at all. But I can't help but think that David Moyes is thinking, this is going exactly as I planned. It's a crap plan, by the way, because the whole plan is predicated upon everybody else losing. And I looked at it before, I thought, everybody else ain't going to lose. So it's a terrible plan, right? Well, they have all lost. I'm not looking at any little green markers in the last 3 games for any of the clubs around us. Watford, Bournemouth, Villa, Norwich have not won any of their last 3. You want to get out of it? You start winning games. Look at Newcastle's recent form. They're just win-win draw. 39 points, out of it. Not a worry in a world. And Watford, who I thought it would be us and Aston Villa. I really did. Bournemouth, maybe. I thought Watford would just be gone. But their goal difference is one different to ours. Their 1 point better than us. They're right in it. So, whilst I would love to say that David Moyes has dragged another club back into the relegation mix, I might change that phrase to another club have dragged themselves back into the relegation mix. Are we the worst team in the Premier League? I don't know. But it might not even matter.
You know I'm hitting hardest when it comes to rhyming. You know I'm hitting hardest.